There's a new poll proving that Donald Trump has effectively infected the Republican Party with his massive lies, not only about the election, but also about January 6th, that fateful day at the Capitol. This polling from Ipsos Reuters basically shows that about half of Republicans don't think that the events on January 6th were serious, and that insofar as they were, like if it was bad, it was actually the left trying to make Donald Trump and the Republican Party and conservatives look bad. And this is in addition to the fact that 60% of Republicans still think Donald Trump is the rightful guy to be in the White House, that Joe Biden isn't actually the dutiful president. Like, this is a majority of the Republican Party. A majority of the party believing something that is factually untrue. This is not simply Republicans still liking Donald Trump. That can still boggle my mind, and I can think they're being ridiculous. But at the end of the day, who you support in politics is opinion. It's largely opinion, and we have to realize that in a democracy, people will have differing opinions. But these are facts. These are facts, guys. It's a fact that Donald Trump and his thugs and the Republican Party, at least certain elements of it, caused that event on January 6th because they were mad they lost the election. And the reality is they did lose the election. Joe Biden won. He is the rightful president, and no reasonable person will dispute that. You can still like Donald Trump, but those facts are facts. And a majority of the Republican Party on these key questions does not believe in reality. And it's terrifying, because here's the thing. It's one of the two biggest parties. It's a two-party system, and you now have one party, the majority of which is dedicated to opposing basic reality, the basic world that faces them in their eyeballs. They're like, nah, bro, that's not real. Donald Trump is still president, and January 6th was not a big deal. And if it was actually the left. It was actually Black Lives Matter and socialists and the Democrats and Joe Biden faking it all to make Donald Trump look bad. And this is awful. This is awful. And I want to read you some reporting that goes a bit into why this is bad. It says here, the Ipsos Reuters poll shows a large number of rank-and-file Republicans have embraced the myth. While 59% of all Americans say Trump bears some responsibility for the attack, only 3 in 10 Republicans agree. 8 in 10 Democrats and 6 in 10 Republicans reject the false claims that the Capitol siege was mostly peaceful or it was staged by left-wing protesters. Republicans have their own version of reality, said John Geer, an expert on public opinion at Vanderbilt University. It is a huge problem. Democracy requires accountability, and accountability requires evidence. The refusal of Trump and prominent Republicans to repudiate the events of January 6 increases the likelihood of a similar incident happening again, says Susan Cork, director of the Intelligence Project at the Southern Poverty Law Center, which tracks hate groups. And so that's the reality here. It's not only that these people are ridiculous and we need to sort of gawk at the ridiculousness, it's that as long as these people continue to insist by the tens of millions, a majority of Republicans, that what happened on January 6th is fine, A-okay, or only bad insofar as the left did it, and that Donald Trump is still the guy, he's not the former guy, he's the current guy, at least rightfully so, they would say, then there's no moving on. You cannot heal as a society without some accountability. You cannot move forward past January 6th and past Trump's lies, even if he's not president anymore and the Democrats won, until the Republican Party, in its majority, its vast majority, admits they were wrong, they lied, and they need to have some atonement for those lies. And you're seeing just the opposite. You're seeing a majority of the party say, we did nothing wrong and we should still be in power. And you see Republican officials, based on this cue from the rank and file in Georgia, Arizona, and in other swing states, trying to pass laws to rectify a fraudulent situation that doesn't exist. They're passing laws based on these lies. They're saying, in Georgia, obviously Trump should have won, but he didn't, so let's change the rules to make him win, or make someone like Trump win in 2022 and in 2024, based not on any reality, but the anger of the Republican base. So when some people are like, we got to move on, Trump's out of office, January 6th was when he was still president, he left, Biden's president, the Democrats won the House and the Senate, let's move on, let's talk about the here and now. Can't do it. Can't do it. Not only is Donald Trump still the biggest voice in the Republican Party, he is also a potential threat to run in 2024, as are some of his kids like Don Jr. and Ivanka. His daughter-in-law, Laura, is probably going to run for Senate in North Carolina. You cannot move past it yet. You can't. You can't. It's still the basic reality of American politics. The Republican Party is dedicated to fundamental lies about the election and the Capitol insurrection, and they are weaponizing those lies to disenfranchise black people, other minorities, and anyone they deem a quote-unquote lib that they need to own, right? Like, that's fundamentally what we're dealing with here. The Republican Party, I think, is unsalvageable, and this should be a lesson to Democrats that want to compromise with these people. So look at Sinema. Look at Manchin, even look at Biden to some degree, and ask them, and they should be asking themselves, why are we trying to preserve a filibuster to compromise with a party that, if it got its way, would never let a legitimate election happen again and would, till the end of time, justify violent attacks on democracy? That's the question here. The Republican Party is now clearly on the path to becoming a totalitarian, like fascist party. If you can't see that, you are lost.